Hi, Donna. Good morning.
Oh, hi, good morning. Good to see you.
Same here.
How are you doing this morning? Or I guess it's at nighttime for you.
Yeah, night time. Your third session. Enjoying. I've enjoyed 2 sessions now. I have just pushed it before you came, so I thought that it's rather to
No
push
problem.
it live. Well, how many people have booked for the class?
Maybe about 13. I'll give you the names here.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, excuse me. All right. Okay. Allergy season here. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. Good to see you. Hi, Nikki.
Morning, Donna. It's morning for us.
It's morning, yeah. Some people are about to have lunch, or there might be done. It's afternoon, I guess. Hi, Melinda. Good to see you. We missed you last week at the art discussion on Friday. It's the doozy, Melinda. Nikki's laughing because she was there.
I struck out almost every time. No, I did get the Liberty. I got one.
You got one.
I named the painting.
Okay, everybody, cue me in.
There was a painting of three hunks. Remember that one, Nikki?
Oh
my. It just fell off the rails on that one.
Hey, Nikki, I understand your daughter works for Get Set Up.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
She told me she is proud as she wants you to start taking some of those exercise classes.
Oh, the pressure. Oh,
I know. Yeah.
I get up at 8 o'clock every morning to Stacy gets me out of bed every day.
Oh, that's good.
She's good.
She's kind of early though for California, isn't she?
Oh God, yeah. No, 8 o'clock as it is.
It's 5 a.m. here, so that's
my watch goes off at 7:50. I got a 9-minute snooze, and I know I can sign on at 7:59.
You get right in there.
And you get
last second.
I stay in bed until the last minute.
Oh, I hear you on that one.
Well, I'm glad you got to meet my daughter. Yeah, I'm very proud of her. And I mentioned that to Donna, I think a couple of classes ago. Huh, Donna?
Yeah.
And I'm not here as a spy, honest.
You're not spy. I know, really. Now we think she's just a
I'm here as a
spy.
learner.
Nikki, you're in every class. Come on.
I know. I don't have anything
She's
to do. I can't eat all day.
Oh, that's funny. Oh boy.
Well, I'm going to be teaching a home exchange class tomorrow, Donna.
Oh, good for
Rough.
oh, that sounds
Good
fun.
for you.
At 2:30. And then we're
Nice.
having home exchange 2 the following Wednesday.
Great.
Just finishing up, getting all that stuff ready.
Other people will have to come and check that out. Hi, Christine. Hi, Rose. Hi, Gina, Alice, Doris. Welcome, everyone. Carolyn.
Good morning,
Hi.
California, Donna and Nikki.
Yeah.
We have sun today and warmth. My windows are open.
I know it's
And you
got
got
hot
palm
here
trees
yesterday.
and ocean and everything, right?
Oh,
yeah,
I
she's
wish.
got that ocean breeze.
No palm trees. Got the waves, but no palm trees.
Uh,
Hi, Rose. Oh, so nice to see you.
There. Hello. Hi, everyone. Melinda,
Hey.
what class are you teaching tomorrow?
Home exchange.
home exchange, yeah.
Yeah, for
exchange?
travel. Yeah.
Have you done that a lot yourself?
I've done that for about 5 years now.
Hmm.
Wow.
There's tricks of. I think before the class starts, we ought to find out how many people have actually been to the Vatican and seen.
Oh
all
yeah,
the
that's
wonderful
usually my first question. Yeah. Who's been to the Vatican?
I have.
Nikki has.
I was
You just
there
want to hear
in
how many of us
October of
wish you had gone.
I was there in 2019, and on Friday nights they have a pretty good
2019, huh?
deal where they let you in at nighttime, which
Hmm.
is a good way.
Wow.
It's not supposed to be as crowded, but I was a little astounded. But yeah, you can sign up for drinks and hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, wow.
In the courtyard, it's all very fancy, and then
Wow.
you have the place to yourself until like 10 o'clock at night. But
Oh my gosh.
But there's
but
still a
it
pretty
was-
good sized crowd.
Unfortunately, the tours have gotten wind of that, and so
Yeah.
it was still, but it wasn't as bad as the daytime.
Yeah. It's a tough tour because there's so many people.
Yeah.
Just
It's,
ducking and dodging the birds ought to make it tough.
It's tough.
Okay,
Oh my.
wear your hats, lady. Wear your hats.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, so let's get started on our tour of the Vatican.
Are you going to have the
Um,
tapestry where Jesus's eyes follow you down the hallway?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the famous pieces.
Yeah. What was it called? Trying to remember
It's
what
one
because
of
I've
the
been.
it's in the tapestry hall, and
Oh,
it's Christ, and it's really, but as you move down the tapestry, his eyes follow you. The way it was
I
woven.
don't.
In
I
fact,
remember- I remember the Hall of Maps. That stuck with me. That was kind of an interesting one. All right, well, let's get started here on our tour. I want to welcome everyone to Get Set Up. Seniors teaching seniors about technology and other things. Like today, we're going to talk about some of the famous art of the Vatican. Can't really cover all of it because there's a lot of famous stuff here, but we're going to hit on the big parts when you go on the tour of the Vatican. My name is Donna. I was in the IT industry for over 30 years. I enjoy helping people get over their fears of technology. You can get a recording of this class by emailing help@getsetup.io. But we're not paid to promote anything here at Get Set Up. This is just for our own training. We're going to talk about some of the famous artworks that you will see at the Vatican, discuss some of the works, especially of Michelangelo and Raphael, and what famous artwork was stolen and returned. Oh my, we have a mystery. Now, I just asked who has been at the Vatican and kind of mixed. Some people have, some people haven't. This is the nice little shot here of St. Peter's. You know, the Vatican, it's 13 acres. It's quite a plaza. The museums take up quite a bit. I'm going to show you some pictures here of the grounds. This is the Hall of Maps I was talking about. This is a great hallway you walk down, and you walk down a lot of hallways. You start on one end of the museums when you're on a tour, and it's crowded. And if you have a mother-in-law with you, it can be stressful. And then you go down the halls, and there's a lot of halls like this, and they're gorgeous. I mean, look at the ceilings, the gold. And this is the Hall of Maps. They have all these ancient maps on the walls. They're really fascinating to look at as you're going through. And here's some of the grounds.
When I was there, they actually had an orchestra that played out there in the evening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that evening thing sounds nice.
Yeah.
This is Michelangelo's Last Judgment. That's in the Sistine Chapel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think after you get your ticket, you go down the spiral stairs. These are pretty cool. These are pretty famous. A lot of pictures have been taken of these. Oh, and Lancôme and his sons. Now this started it all. 1506, Pope Julius II, strolling down, I don't know where he was, but he found this statue in a vineyard just on the side of the road and was disgraced. That artwork was just being discarded. And that began, he really was instrumental in the earlier parts of the Vatican museums. He's really responsible for the first end of it. He started collecting artwork, and that began the Vatican museums.
I'm sorry, which pope was that, Donna?
Pope Julius II.
Okay.
Was in 1506. So he started this, where the Pope started cultivating art and collecting it and preserving it. That was the big thing, the preservation of it at the Vatican, since it was being discarded all over the place, apparently. Here's another shot of some of these buildings. Now, the museum has 70,000 pieces of artwork. It's just gorgeous when you're walking through all the different pieces of art. They have art, about 20,000 are on display at any given time. And they have 54 galleries. So we're going to start with, go ahead, Melinda, you have a
I was
question?
going to say that last photograph with 3 people standing in it was awfully deceiving.
Yeah. I know. It's more like 1,000 people standing in front of you. I know. When did they take that picture? I know. It's pretty crazy.
The Uffizzi's gotten that bad too, though, in Florence.
Yeah. Maybe it was a family day or something. Yeah, because it is pretty crowded. All right. So we're going to talk about the Pinacoteca, which is it's the picture gallery. This is one of the first ones you're going to see when you enter the Vatican. I'm going to play for you a little video. And I'm going to give you the link to the website for the Vatican because they have some great virtual experiences you can do on their website. You can kind of wander around and look at stuff. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that here, so you can try it out. All right, here, try out this video. All right. Now that was the gallery. All the artwork that you saw from the Middle Ages to the 1800s, you would see some Raphael pieces, Da Vinci, Caravaggio, among others. Some of those paintings, for those who have been doing our Friday afternoon name that masterpiece, you might have noticed a few of them in there. Nikki, did you? All right.
Yes, I did. It's amazing. Amazing.
All right.
Now that one, is that a Raphael of Christ Ascension?
Yeah, this is the Transfiguration, which is very famous. I'm just going to bring it up here so we can talk a little bit about this. This is one of his most famous paintings. This is the last painting he painted before he died. And what you have here, I'm just going to scroll through it. It's very large. This represents the dual nature of Christ and human and divine. So what you have at the top of the painting, let me see if I can make this one. Let me go to the smaller picture of it. Here we go. So Jesus is at the top. He's got two prophets there, Elijah and Moses. And at the bottom, you see the apostles, and they're helping a family whose son is ill, and they're trying to get a cure. And so what you see here, the colors, it's very light in heaven, very peaceful. And then where us mere mortals live is very dark and difficult. So that's kind of what they're showing, those two types of worlds. The desperate humans on the bottom here. Did you get to see that one, Melinda, at all?
Yes. Of course, as you know, it is so huge that even just to physically walk through it is going to take you a couple hours, much less stopping. But so it is the kind of thing where you do need to know what rooms, where these important pieces are. Now, obviously, that one's hard to miss, but
yeah, it is a little because you're walking down all these hallways and then there's all these offshoots. So you do have to kind of know where you want to go.
But if you have a good, not only a map, but if you're going by yourself, you definitely want to have somebody, some kind of guided tour,
right?
That you can refer to, or else you'll miss some of this stuff. But yeah, that thing is huge.
Yeah, this was originally supposed to be an altarpiece. And it was supposed to go to France, for a church in France, but it ended up staying. The Pope liked it so much, he decided to keep it in Rome. And this is the one that was stolen. This got stolen by, oh boy, you'll never guess who, but Napoleon.
Oh, okay.
He had it moved to France. He's a devil, that one. And then it got returned to the Vatican.
That's more military confiscation than stealing.
So that's the painting, and it's a large painting, so it's a pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't think Napoleon snuck out in the middle of the night with that.
Probably not.
Don, I have a question on the the Transfiguration. Did Raphael put himself down in the mere mortals? You know how he has.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's go back to where I had that.
Yeah. He would have been very old if it was before he passed.
Well, he was not that old when he passed. Let me see. I'll tell you.
Oh, really?
He was 37 years old when he died.
Oh my God.
Pardon me. He was painting, when he was painting the Raphael rooms, he was only 26 years old. He was quite an artist, though. He was very popular. He had a little school of art in Rome, and people loved him. I mean, they just really loved the guy, which probably made people like Michelangelo really mad because it seemed like there was some beef between the two of them. Yeah, so I'm looking to see if I could see his face.
So what happened to him that he died at such a young age?
I think we looked it up at one point, something about some fever.
Oh, okay.
It could have been anything.
Okay.
At that time, people were dying from all types of of things.
How old
Oh,
did you
why
say
is there?
Raphael was when he died?
Raphael was 37.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Melissa was asking why is there gold in so many paintings? Well, that was a style of painting that they did, putting in the gold. The medieval paintings really had a lot of gold put on them, and also the paintings have a kind of a tinge to them because copper was mixed into the paint, and that probably might add to that. And then as these paintings age, you'll probably notice when you go to a museum, when you're in the Renaissance period, all the paintings have this green tinge to them because it's tarnished over the years. So you'll see that kind of dark green tinge. These paintings were much more brighter when they were originally painted. In fact, Raphael and some of these people would probably be shocked to see what happened to their paintings if they saw them today, because they were probably really pretty brightly colored.
Donna, I just looked it up and it says, notably, the true cause of Raphael's death was a pulmonary illness that Reva described as very similar to the coronavirus we see now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, you know,
Pneumonia.
yeah, probably some like a pneumonia thing, or they had what kind of medicine did you have back then? Nothing really. No vaccines.
Aspirin, and you call the doctor the next month.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, oh well, yeah, what's the doctor going to do, right? He doesn't have anything. He's going to give you some leeches or something, or some potion to drink. Another in that Pinacottata gallery, another famous one. There is only one Da Vinci in the entire Vatican collection. This is Saint Jerome in the Wilderness. It's in room 9 in the Pinacottata.
And it's unfinished.
It's unfinished. Yeah, it's about 1480. This is Saint Jerome. He's in the Syrian desert, sorry. He lived there as a hermit. He has a stone in his hand. He's beating himself for penance. So he's beating his chest with a stone. He's got his lion here. This is his companion. The story goes that he pulled a thorn out of the lion's paw, and they were forever companions. Not the happiest kind of painting, but this is unfinished from Da Vinci. And this is...
well, actually, that's a good way of seeing all of Da Vinci's underpainting.
Yeah, because you can see where you can even see some of the markings. Like the way he started his paintings, some of the sketchings, and makes you wonder what his idea was, like what it would have looked like. Like he does have some of his background here. He was working back here on the landscape part in the background. Oh, and this panel, another thing about this one. After his death, for some reason, this was cut into 5 pieces. And then it was restored back to its original form. So if you look closely on this, you can see there's a line right here. You can kind of see where they had to put it back together.
Was that on canvas or on a panel? Do you know?
Not sure. Must have been to cut it into 5 pieces. That'd be hard to do on a canvas, I would think. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's a panel or canvas. All right. Now, another popular place to stop when you're at the Vatican is the Raphael rooms. So let's take a look at these. And on the website, there is a section under collections. You have museums. You can select museums, and you'll see all the museums in the Vatican. So you can come and visit all of these. So we're going to do Raphael rooms. So I'm going to just play a video of them so you can hear a little bit about them. These are the 4 rooms that he painted. Well, mostly painted him.
Positive, but I think one of these rooms was for a Pope's bedroom.
What'd you say?
One of these rooms was painted for a Pope's bedroom. If you could
Oh,
imagine.
yeah. These were supposed to be the Pope's apartments. Yeah, could you imagine sleeping? All those eyes looking at you.
So Donna, how were these artists chosen to paint, and when they were chosen, were they given like a specific area to paint in, or how was
and it's kind of funny. Like Raphael was pretty well known in the area. People liked his work, and if you were a good artist, the popes and kings and people would definitely contact you because word would get out about your work. But really, they were, a lot of, if you were a palace or a Vatican or any place like that, you're going to do frescoes on the walls. So you would bring in people to do the frescoes, and that's who these guys were. I mean, they were kind of like glorified contractors in a way, because that's what you did for the walls. You had to have, the artwork put on the walls, and there were some
famous in their day.
They were famous. They were known for their work, and there was some sparring. I know, like Michelangelo, he wanted to do the Pope's tomb. That's what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I think it was, let's see, I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Well, the famous
Bramante. Donato Bramante. Do you know him, Linda?
Yeah, he was an architect.
Yeah, he was working on the St. Peter's. Right. He was an architect there. And he felt Michelangelo wasn't good enough to do the Pope's tomb. So there was a little rift going there. And at one point, Michelangelo did leave. He got called back to Rome, and then he did the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. And he was not happy about that at all. There was a lot of writings about him complaining about his back, and he really didn't like the assignment. So you have, and like Raphael was painting the Raphael rooms at the same time Michelangelo was just down the hall doing the Sistine Chapel. They all knew each other, and I'm sure there was competition for the different gigs. that were coming up, and probably some people felt they could have done it better than, you're going to see that with all these artists.
So was there any such thing as saying no?
Oh, I think if the Pope calls you, you don't say no.
Okay.
You probably.
I was just wondering, because you were talking about Michelangelo, how much he hated doing the Sistine Chapel.
I'm sure it paid well in that day to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I
they
think
had much.
I think with most jobs, money speaks.
Money speaks, yeah.
And being able
Still
to eat,
today, still today.
Still
exactly,
today.
and being able
Exactly.
to eat and feed your family or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, still today, and still there are people
Absolutely.
who make enough
Yeah,
money.
I mean, these people did not lead lives of leisure. Their art was their vocation. That's what they did to make money and put food on the table. So yeah, so they may not have liked the assignment, but they did
So
it.
how long did it take like someone to do? Because it seemed like this is a lifetime project. You wouldn't have time to paint other masterpieces. And a lot of
Yeah,
did. So it seems like this would be like, for as long as you're living, you're going to be painting this. How do you have time to paint other things and still, I just can't.
the
I just think
ceiling.
it's phenomenal to be painting
is.
things.
Yeah.
Especially considering how young Raphael was and how,
He was very young. Yeah.
and how much he produced in even
In
in
such
the
a
way
short
of
period of
portrait.
time.
Yeah.
But
In
didn't
fact,
they have apprentices though? Because I know
Yeah.
Michelangelo had apprentices working with him.
Yeah, they would have
right.
been.
And Raphael, he had his art school. And the thing is, Raphael only painted in their entirety 2 of the 4 rooms. He died before he could finish.
Okay.
So his students finished off the project. Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
I'll
So
tell you what, when I was in this room with the School of Athens, like I said, it was in the evening and it was still packed shoulder to shoulder of people. And you see how big this room is.
oh yeah. Now this one, I'm trying to think how long it took them to do the Raphael rooms. It took a while.
Oh yeah.
It was many years.
Years.
I think I want to say almost 10 years, but
Donna, I wanted to ask those of you that have been to the Vatican, my experience of just going to museums in the United States, they usually have like a booklet to explain what you're seeing. And with the detail of what's on these walls, you would have to have a guide or a book or something to explain. Did any of you have that?
I think they sell a an audio
Oh,
thing.
so you have headphones?
Yeah, that you can get. And then, like I said, there's lots of there are a lot of guides on what to look for, in the different rooms that
it's best to
That's
come
why I'm
prepared.
asking if any of you had guides or if you had a book as you went through it to explain it to you.
I had a book and for myself, and as an art history student, I was already familiar with some of these as far as knowing what you're going to see. But there were
I'm trying to remember if they handed anything to you.
They do give you a map.
Yeah, I think we got a map. Yeah.
Mm.
And but like I said, it's there is a lot. You can't really. I think a lot of people do. There certainly are a lot of tours. You see a lot of group tours where there'll be someone with 25 people clustered around them, and which is a real pain because you're trying to look at something and you're getting stampeded by this group. But
there's 55 galleries, so it's it's a lot. In one day, you're just going to kind of run right through it. You're not going to see that much.
The Raphael rooms are towards the end, and of course the Sistine Chapel is the very last thing.
Right.
So you've got to kind of pace yourself so that by the time you get to these more famous things, you aren't burnt out. But there's a lot of interesting. There's a lot of
all of these
things.
galleries can be seen in one day.
No.
I didn't think so.
It takes a while just to walk through. Just if you're just going through with the flow, it takes a while to get through.
Rose, I would say though that to get your ticket to get in, you're going to spend at least, unless you're you get to come back to Rome a lot. It's going to be one of those things where it's kind of like going to the Louvre. You know, you plan on spending half a day there, or at least, or however much time you've got in Rome.
The whole, or as much of the whole day, because you
buy
want to
your
go over to St. Peter's too. You want to look at that. That's
And they're entirely two different entrances. What's interesting is to enter the museums, you have to walk around almost a couple of blocks. I mean, it's all the way around to the back. It's not.
I'm thinking if you plan like a 2-week trip.
Okay. Yes.
And like a 2-week trip, you do like a room a day. Could you do something like that, or is it expensive to do that because you go in, or do you have like a ticket that can let you in for the whole time you're there?
No, you buy the ticket. The tickets are not cheap, and then once you're there, I mean, you can stay as long as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, that's true of all these famous museums. The Louvre and now the Uffizi, you actually have to get a time slot ahead of time to get in.
Oh, that's rough, a time slot. Yeah.
The effort to get into these places, you really need to be prepared before you go in, and you need to sort of pace yourself.
Yeah.
And kind of know, because it's physically impossible. And the Vatican has some famous things, but they have a lot of stuff that is kind of second tier. That's nice, but I mean, as far as galleries go, probably the Uffizi and the Louvre have more.
Yeah.
You call famous must-see paintings, but the Vatican has quite a collection, and it's a matter of kind of knowing like this painting here is very famous in this room,
right?
That to kind of know that, and some people, are maybe in Rome only for 3 or 4 days. And so are they, and then plus you've got to spend time. That was one thing nice about the nighttime tour, is we were able to go into St. Peter during the day and then come back at like 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
And actually, like I said, they had enough hors d'oeuvres. It was like dinner. So that.
Yeah. I just remember spending like a really long day. It was spent the whole day there. But it was wonderful.
Well, they do sell tickets where you can go to the museum for like 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row.
Oh, thank you.
Good.
To pace yourself. Also, my mission was just to focus on the Sistine Chapel, and I spent 2 hours there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's another famous museum in Rome, the one with all the statuary, I can't think of it right now because I'm getting old where names go right in my head, but
girl, you're getting better, okay? Don't get it twisted, okay?
That's right, you're getting better. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll talk about the School of Athens here. This is in the room of signatures. This was the room where the Pope would sign their documents would be signed in this room. This is a painting that Raphael painted, and it's one of the more famous ones out of all the, we're going to take a little run through virtually of what these rooms look like. This is in this School of Athens, what you have are the 2 different schools. Plato is over here on the left side, and Aristotle's on the right. You've got all the realism people are on the right side, because Aristotle was a realist, and then you've got your idealist on the left. The interesting thing about the School of Athens is you have, I'm going to get into this room here so you can see the painting up close here. There we go. Now we can see it a little better here. All right. So you do have Raphael right here on the right side. This is his self-portrait. I have a little close-up up here of him. He photobombed it. He's the only character in the painting that's looking at the viewer. So he's just kind of drawing you into his world here. So there he is off to the side here. Plato's head is actually the old Da Vinci Da Vinci had about 30 years on Raphael and Michelangelo. So it was a big age difference between him and the other two. Raphael and Michelangelo are about 8 years difference in age. So he's got Leonardo da Vinci's head here as a little homage to him, as he did look up to him. This is this is Michelangelo's face. Looking at the painting, they say that this was painted a little after when the painting was finished. So they don't know if it was just an afterthought. He decided to throw it in. This is supposed to be Heliodorus, the philosopher. He's the one who said that you can never step into a river twice. And he was a bit of a brooding guy. And so he put Michelangelo's face on the philosopher. So there's some theories that it was either an afterthought and he decided to throw it in the front of the painting, or there was a little fanfare when the Sistine Chapel was starting to get completed, and Michelangelo was getting a little, some love from the press and the public. And maybe there was, there's some thought, people think that maybe he painted this around that time because he got a little, jealous of Michelangelo getting the attention. So there's a lot of speculation about this famous fresco. All right, and I'm going to show you. Go ahead.
I'm curious, is the fellow in white there on the left with the longish hair is right there? No, in standing young fella in all white.
Oh, this one right here.
Isn't he somebody? I was always thinking that that's a portrait of someone.
It looks like it could be. I don't know on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of little, like for instance, where his picture is, he's got his friend, his friend's picture is standing right next to him. And they think it was a little homage to his buddy, because he actually, when he went to paint one of the rooms, he had to paint over some frescoes that were already there. And he painted over one of his friends' frescoes and his teacher. So sometimes these frescoes, they go away. If another job comes up, another pope, and they just paint over things. Can you, Melissa, what was your question? Can you tell about the paints of the period? Oh, the paints. Oil.
Well, these would have been frescoes. So they
fresco, yeah.
This would not have been oil.
That's true. The fresco, the paint, it's on the wet plaster. I can tell you when Michelangelo did the ceiling, he didn't use a binder. So he painted over the wet plaster, and the paint would have gone into the plaster. And once it dried, if he wanted to make a change, he would have had to chop out that piece of plaster and repair the plaster and paint over it. So he really had to be really sure of himself when he was painting. I don't know if Raphael did. I doubt Raphael did that here. He was probably able to make corrections. So let's take a look at, I want to show you this virtual experience real quick of the rooms. So when you go to this website, you'll see virtual tour. So we're in the Raphael rooms right here. It says Raphael rooms on the left here. I'm going to click on virtual tour down here. And what's really cool is it's going to show you what these rooms look like when you're inside them. You can see on that page the individual paintings, and it'll tell you the story about the paintings. But what you don't see is, like this one's right above a window. You can go and take a look at these rooms.
Yeah, Rose, this is an excellent site. The Vatican Museum site's an excellent site as far as
this is really, you get a lot of information. You'll see these clear little arrows. If you click on them, they'll take you to the next room. So you can tour through each of these rooms. There's the School of Athens right here, and you can scroll in there. Now we can get in real good. This is with my mouse. I can scroll in with my mouse. Yeah, that looks like, I wonder who that mysterious person is there.
I think at one time they thought that was Raphael.
Now
you're right. I think you're right on
No, that's him right there.
Yeah.
That's his little photo bomb, and that's his friend right here standing next to him. So you can come through, but every inch, boy, of these rooms are painted. They're really gorgeous. So you can come in here with your mouse and you can really get up close to everything. And
Boy,
again, you'll see
You can even
the
see
little,
the floor.
yeah, I know the floors. I mean, look at these floors, the tiling. So you can get a real good look. Go on, click on the arrow and go to the next room. And you can, take a look at all of these. Again, just scroll in with your mouse. Yeah, so that's the so the Raphael rooms, and you can visit each. Let me go back here. Get back into the Raphael rooms. There we go.
So Donna, the links
Wait,
that I just send are going to include the links to the virtual tours?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you come here with Raphael rooms, you'll see the different 4 rooms. So you
Okay.
can, for instance, you can click on one of the rooms and then it will show you all the famous paintings.
Okay.
So you can go in like the fire in the Borgo. This is an interesting painting. This was a fire that happened in the neighborhood. And they'll tell you a little story about it. You can go and visit that. All right. The next place I want to take you to, of course, we have to go to the Sistine Chapel. So I'm going to play a short video that will show you a little bit of the chapel, and then we'll talk about it. Pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah.
So question.
Uh-huh.
So why is it that every single room seems to be painted with people instead of like whatever the situation was at the time? Everything seems to be people. And so like, is there like a theory behind every single room being every artist painting everything with people and more people?
Yeah, well, the people paying for the paintings were the popes and the kings and queens. So they wanted their stories told. They wanted, if there was a big battle that, they're proud of, they'll want a, painting done of a battle. And, so that's really what it is. It's you're seeing history being told of the, the area that it's in. Like they say the Vatican, between what Raphael did and Michelangelo, that's one of the greatest collections of frescoes during the Renaissance period, depicting what was going on during that time. But that's why it's all people, because they are telling the stories. Some of it's Greek mythology, could be Roman, Roman ancient history, stories like that being passed down, or religious stories being told. Yeah, biblical.
Rose, you have to remember back then, not very many people could read. So this was a way of the church telling Bible stories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good
Not
point.
only couldn't they read, there weren't books.
Right, that's true.
Publishing didn't even
I'm not
happen.
talking about their ability to read, because if there was any type of ability to communicate visually other than pictures, I'm sure there would have been. But am like, there had to be other things other than people fighting, other than people. I mean, it just seemed to be just people. Like there's no scenery of anything peaceful, things like that, other than God ascending from heaven, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's the Renaissance. I mean, in art history changes down the road. Thank God we get to see landscapes and stuff.
Right. But keep in mind, if the popes are dictating and they're in charge, they're telling them, think about what's in churches now. It's whatever.
Okay, but keep in mind, I'm a Baptist, okay? Okay,
so
keep
I
that in
know from
mind.
being Catholic for a while
Okay.
that what the church says, and I don't know any church you've been to, if your pastor's usually in charge of what's happening in that church, but the popes are
Right, but
still in
I'm
charge
talking
of
about just the concept of every artist that's ever used. They're all basically painting things of people, and that's not usually an artist. An artist will paint whatever their love is. Every artist is doing stuff of people, and they seem to be like in battles and things like that. So I was asking if there
in fact, tonight I'm doing my art history class, and that's part of the thing, when it's who is paying for the painting. And then as art history moves down, 300 years from now, the painters are painting whatever the heck they want to paint. If it can be a landscape or it can just be, a chair in the corner, it doesn't matter now. But yeah, it's back then though, there was, the church had a lot of power, and and they were depicting the history. They're telling the stories of the day.
Rose, another thing that happened during the Renaissance was a lot of the old Greek and Roman statuary was being uncovered and found, and there was a real return to this nudes and the human body being held up as sort of one of the sort of the glories of God's creation,
as the temple it is,
body of where it's not something you're ashamed of, but it's something.
That's true, because like the medieval period before the Renaissance and the medieval period was all about God, and the idea was that God created everything and man could not create anything. And then that shifted a little bit in the Renaissance. They loosened up a little on that, and once they said, well, man can create things too, then art really flourished. That's where art really opened up in the Renaissance, because there was a change in the thought. And in the Renaissance period, when they drew God, in the medieval period, they always had a halo above. Well, in the Renaissance, they dropped the halo. Da Vinci and Michelangelo, they didn't do halos, Raphael. So it was a little change in times.
A lot of, when Michelangelo did this, a lot of the characters were nude, and later the Vatican came along and painted over them. There was a period where the Vatican was like, we can't have, so the cloth was put over everybody, and then later during restorations they were all uncovered and brought back.
She's talking about the prime example is this one here, Michelangelo's Last Judgment. So much nudity that after he died, things got a little conservative, and they actually put clothes on all these figures.
Really?
They painted over it, and then
on all of those. Man?
They put clothes on all of it, and then after a time, they went and they restored it back to its original. Really? But yeah.
Wow.
The other thing about the ceiling was it was used to be darker. I saw this ceiling in the 1974, and it was very dark, but that's how all the art history books had shown it. It's how everybody had seen it. And then in the 80s, they did it took about 20 years, they did a huge major restoration on the Sistine Chapel where they started cleaning the dirt off. And it came back to these vibrant colors that there was a big argument among the art world that thought that the ceiling had been ruined, that there was no way that Michelangelo painted in such vibrant colors.
You can see some of the.
They were sure that, in restoring it, that they'd taken off this dark film that he'd put on it. But frescoes being frescoes, as Donna said, fortunately, it's down into the plaster itself. So you're able to clean off any dirt. And you've got to remember all the oil lamps and all the, in fact, this is also where the Pope, the cardinals meet to choose the next Pope, is in this room.
Yeah, when they send that smoke signal, it comes from the Sistine Chapel.
And where they seal themselves in, they seal themselves into this room until they make up their mind. But
Nikki, you have a question? I see your hand up. Oh, okay.
No.
So the Sistine Chapel ceiling. First of all, why did Michelangelo was actually not even in the area? He got called back. He was a lot older at this point when he came to do the ceiling. I'm thinking of the Last Judgment. Yeah, this one here. He was called back. He had left Rome, and they had a crack in the ceiling. It was a Starry Night kind of thing, stars kind of motif on the ceiling, and they had a crack, and it was, chunks were falling down, and they needed the ceiling repaired. So they repaired it, and then they needed some new fresco put on. So that's where Michelangelo came in to do this. So this, very famous. This depicts the Old Testament, the creation, the fall of man, the promise of salvation. You have Adam and God. Let me show you the God picture here. If I can turn it around. There we go. Let's give it a little turn. This is an unusual depiction because man is almost at the same level as God, and God is touching Adam. Adam has a very childlike look on his face because he's been brought to life. So all these panels, if we look at these panels, they'll start with God divides light from darkness. Then God creates the sun and the planets. He divides the water from the earth. He creates Adam. That's the panel we were just looking at. Then he creates Eve. And then Adam and Eve are tempted and sent from Eden. And then Noah and his family make a sacrifice after the flood. Then there's the great flood. And then there's Noah's drunken disgrace. I'm not too sure about that. I don't remember that story, but.
So where is the Adam and Eve thing at? Where's the one where
it's right next. You see
right
Eve
next to. Yeah, there's Eve getting created. I got to turn it around here.
Yeah, she's coming.
Adam and Eve's right over here. Yeah. Right here is Adam and Eve.
Oh, okay.
Adam and Eve panel.
Oh.
But Donna, this is all on the ceiling, right?
Yes.
This is all on the ceiling.
And how high are those ceilings?
Pretty high.
They're pretty.
I don't know what height it is, but it's
100 feet.
Easily.
Ooh, easy. Yeah.
Well, let's see. 100 feet would be 10 stories, so that's not quite.
No, but it's
1, 2, 3, probably
3 stories.
Probably about 4 stories high.
Wow.
And
So there's no way you could actually see this detail without binoculars or something.
Yeah, that would have been nice to bring in there.
Yeah, it's the one
opera
room
glasses.
They do not allow you to take photographs in this room.
Yeah. Oh, they're pretty strict there too.
Melinda, don't you think? Well, I was really surprised. It's very high, but the room itself is a lot smaller than I pictured in my mind.
Yeah.
What did you think, Melinda?
Well, I think the thing that surprised me the most when I walked into it in October is as familiar as we are with all these images and, and you just kind of go, okay, we're going to just how overwhelmed I was. It is to see this in person. It is incredibly moving.
And many artists painted in here. There's a lot of paintings on those.
Oh yeah,
on
the walls actually. There's quite a few of the murals on the walls were done by Botticelli.
Yeah, they're very famous painters. One last thing to talk about is the Last Judgment. This is the one that they have to repaint over it and everything. He came back 25 years after doing the ceiling. Michelangelo's back, and he did this altar wall. And this has another 300 and something figures, mostly naked. Now, this depicts God's final judgment over mankind. There's the Virgin Mary. This is supposed to be right here, his little self-portrait.
That's how he felt after the job was over.
Probably. It was probably very exhausting. This is Saint Bartholomew who got skinned, right? That's how he died. So that's his skin. That's what that's supposed to depict. But he cast the judgment on mankind, and then here they are in the boat. They're going to go to hell, or the angels are going to play their trumpets here and raise the dead up to heaven. So you see the people. It's kind of an interesting painting. They're picking up their bodies, their spirits, and then they're going to rise up to heaven. So it's kind of in a circle, this painting.
And doesn't he have one of the, not one of the popes, but one of the guys that gave him a lot of trouble is in hell, being beaten by the devil, I think.
Raphael.
No.
It's Raphael down in there somewhere.
No, one of the...
That young whippersnapper down there.
One of the cardinals.
Oh, no,
it might be,
Cardinals,
but no, he actually put
straight to hell.
See, these artists, they throw shade all the time in these paintings. It's really interesting,
Are they throwing shade?
They're throwing shade right here. And, I mean, Raphael was throwing shade at Michelangelo. There's all this tension going on.
They probably were tired of painting.
Well, they had nothing else better to do. These are long hours they're working.
This is very, very interesting.
I bet Raphael would have been dead by the time.
Yeah, he would have been dead at this point. Yeah, he was gone. Yeah,
well, only because Michelangelo lived Michelangelo and Da Vinci lived a long time.
Yeah, Da Vinci lived to 67. Michelangelo lived to 89 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
See, it was a good workout to be hanging from the ceiling. That saved
either that or good wine, right, Melinda?
I'm just
and not taking a bath.
I'm always in awe of seeing what Michelangelo did with the ceiling, and that he absolutely loved being a sculptor more than a painter and what he created. And I just want to share, I've not been to the Vatican. However, about 25 years ago or more, I went to the Chicago Art Institute. They had a traveling exhibition of Vatican art.
Oh, nice.
Realizing that it was less than 10%, of the items, but it was really interesting. And I still think that the quintessential biography of Michelangelo was The Agony and the Ecstasy. Mm-hmm. Anybody ever heard of that book? It came out a long time ago, many decades. It was made into a movie also with Charlton Heston as Michelangelo. But it went in depth, over 500 pages, about his relationship with the de Medicis, those popes, and really.
Another point I want to make too about the ceiling. He did not start with the creation of the earth because he wanted to start on the Noah side, the drunken Noah side. I don't remember that story. Does anybody remember that story? But he started over there because he was afraid of, back then there was a lot of pressure if you painted the face of God. You had to get it right. So he felt that if he started on that end, by the time he got down the panel, that he would be able to paint, an appropriate God figure and face.
And because
So-
of scaffolding and everything, he had to start at one end and work his way.
Yep.
It wasn't like,
So yeah.
Wow, wow.
All right. Well, we're at the end of our hour here.
Wow,
But yeah.
Donna. Wow, wow, wow. This
it is.
so-
And also,
This has been great.
the other thing that's surprising is how much those seated figures really look 3D. I mean, as far as it looks like their legs are hanging out. They're literally sitting on the edge.
Yeah.
It's an incredible piece.
Wow.
Yeah. So you'll get links in the email and the link to the Vatican website. Go and explore. They have all kinds of information about all the artwork, especially in the Raphael rooms, every single, on each wall and the ceiling. They'll probably tell you a little story about what it's depicting at that time. And then you can just kind of roam around and take a look at some of the other galleries and stuff that they have for you. All right.
All righty.
All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
art history tonight. If you'd like to find out how we stopped taking, drawing pictures of gods and and people.
Remember, I'm a Baptist.
Yeah, if you want to get a little timeline of art history, come join me tonight.
Okay, all right, I'll think about it. But I got my fill today. I think this is really wonderful. I'm so glad I got in with you guys, Melinda.
I'm glad you joined us. Yes.
This is really good. Thank you. It was really informative.
Bye,
I really
everybody.
enjoyed it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone, for coming.
Thank
You have a great
you.
day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.